What's up, all you Minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And today I get to talk about my top 10 essential reads, must-buys, or recommended reads for the month of April of 2023. Of course, I'm talking about collected editions. So, let's get started. And welcome back, everybody. So here are my recommended reads for the month of April of 2023. My goodness, been doing this for a while. This is where I talk about books that I'm suggesting, books that I've previously read, books I'm excited for, and then some books that I haven't even read that look interesting based on the cover or the premise, or I've just heard about it. But most of these are ones that I have read in the past and that I'm suggesting to you wonderful folks. And I would love to know what your top 10, your top 5, your top 1 would be. And a lot of these based on the writing, some of it just based on artwork, as you're going to be able to see here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and get started. But before I do, smash that like button, please. That goes a long way for us here on the channel. All right, let's get this party started. With Batman Spawn, the Deluxe Edition, from DC Comics, being published by DC, not Image Comics. So 280 pages, $29.99. It will be oversized. They released the standard size hardcover last year, and this one here will feature the 2022 Batman Spawn one-shot. But it will also have 1994's Batman Spawn War Devil and Spawn Batman #1, then a lot of behind the scenes and gallery extras. I am recommending this one because of that freaking artwork. Man, we're talking about Todd McFarlane going back and drawing, not Spawn, I'm sorry, Batman. Since year 2, he hasn't drawn Batman, and he has gone back and drawn Batman. It was really exciting. In 1994, you know, Frank Miller writing the story. You had Klaus Janson doing some of the artwork in here, and then now you've got Greg Capullo doing the art. And you have a very iconic image right there by Capullo. Of course, a take on Miller's The Dark Knight. So I'm excited for this one, and while the writing was okay at best, it's the artwork that you go and get this for. Come on. That's why I also own Absolute Wildcats. All right, moving on to the week. That one, oh, by the way, that one comes out April 4th. This one also comes out April 4th. It's completely different, but this is The Sprite and the Gardener. This is published by Oni Press. This is $9.99. I don't have the page count for this one here, but this is by Ri Abrego and Joe Witt with artwork by Ri Abrego. And this is all about a long time ago when sprites were the caretakers of gardens. Pretty much every flower was grown by their hand. And then humans began to appear and started growing their own gardens. So they kind of became obsolete. I don't know what this is about. I just fell in love with that cover of just these human hands holding this little fairy, this little sprite. And I cannot wait to read this. This is the debut graphic novel of both of the creators. And just based on that cover alone, I'm in. So it's $9.99, but I don't know if that's digest size. It looks, I mean, Oni Press usually does standard size trade paperbacks. War of the Kings Omnibus. Absolutely recommending this for the people that have missed it. So it goes, the reading order of the modern cosmic saga is Annihilation, Annihilation Conquest, Prelude to War of the Kings, and then the Realm of the Kings. But this is a huge crossover, not just with Nova, Guardians of the Galaxy, Darkhawk, or the Imperial Guard, the Shi'ar Empire, or the Inhumans. The X-Men are thrown in here. The X-Men are thrown in here because of Vulcan. So this collects Uncanny X-Men 475 to 486, written by Ed Brubaker. Billy Tan doing a lot of the artwork with Clayton Henry supplying some of that art. X-Men Emperor Vulcan 1 through 5, Secret Invasion War of the Kings, X-Men Kingbreaker 1 through 4, War of the Kings Darkhawk 1 and 2, War of the Kings Warriors 1 and 2, War of the Kings 1 through 6, Ascension 1 through 4, Savage World of Scar. That's the one shot. Nova 23 through 28, Guardians of the Galaxy 13 through 19, War of the Kings Who Will Rule, Marvel Spotlight, War of the Kings, and then material from X-Men Divided We Stand. So you have Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning still leading that charge with the Cosmic Universe. But you have X-Men in Space by Ed Brubaker. Man. So a lot of talented people working on this book. It's a huge crossover. I haven't received my copy yet, which is really weird. But once I do, I'm assuming the reading order is going to be the same as the previous volume, or as the previous printing, for the people wondering. But I will double check. I'm pretty sure it is, because I haven't heard. The next book I'm recommending, if you're a fan of video games, especially me, I love this book. This was Street Fighter Origins Sagat. I got an advance copy from the wonderful folks at Udon. And it's just so cool because there's a lot of Easter eggs in there for people that played video games. And Street Fighter was just one that, you know, people my age, I'm 45 now, people my age would wait at the arcade, putting their quarter down to challenge the next fighter. And this is a god, and it goes back to his origin. Not how he got his scar. That's actually somewhere else. I believe that's in the first volume of the Street Fighter comics. But this right here has amazing artwork, and it's a fun story, and has one of the best Easter eggs for people that have not just been playing video games, but reading video games magazines like Game Pro magazine or EGM magazine. Brought back a lot of memories. That's why I added it on the list. Next up is Top 10 Compendium. I know it's not an omnibus. I know it's not an absolute, but this actually has more stories than the absolute. So this is by Alan Moore, and it features characters that live in this world where everyone has superpowers. So it's an interesting take on those. I love those kind of stories. And it's an interesting take on what if everyone had superpowers. How special would that make you? So this collects America's Best Comics Special, Smacks 1 through 5, Top 10 1 through 12, Top 10 49ers, Top 10 Beyond the Farthest Precinct, and that's 1 through 5, and Top 10 Season 2 1 through 4. So in the previous Absolute Edition, which is the way I think most of us had it if you were at all interested in Top 10, beautiful artwork by Gene Ha, by the way, you had most of this, but it did not include the 5-issue miniseries Beyond the Farthest Precinct. And that one I think took place 2 years after the original series ended. And then it also didn't include the Season 2, which I think that one got canceled, if I'm not mistaken, so it never really wrapped up. So this particular collection has 832 pages, $59.99. It is, again, a softcover, but it is more complete, and I'm excited for it. And for the people that have never read it, you definitely should check it out. Next up on the list is Silly Symphonies, published by Fantagraphics. This is 1932 to 1935. It is done in this beautiful landscape format. It is a hardcover book, showcases these crazy adventures of the first Disney stars that have come into comic book format. And of course, that's Donald Duck right there. That's just the way that he was drawn back then. And it shows the debut of Bucky Bug. Next up is another Guardians of the Galaxy type of book, but this time around by Al Ewing. This is Guardians of the Galaxy. If you missed the trade paperbacks, there's 3 of them, but I think actually 2 of them are now out of print. This collects all of that particular era of Guardians of the Galaxy by Al Ewing, and let me tell you something, it did not last long enough, because I love the characters that he used in here. Yes, there's Star-Lord, and yes, characters like Gamora and Rocket show up, but there were so many other characters, what he did with Quasar, and just to name a few of the characters that you're going to be seeing. Pretty much anybody that has ever been called a Guardian of the Galaxy shows up in here, with a couple of exceptions. This collects issues 1 through 18 of that series, Rocket 1 through 6, and material from Guardians of the Galaxy annual number 1 from 2021. 576 pages. This is a huge book. $49.99. Now, of course, what it is missing, in case you want it in full, is the Last Annihilation crossover. It does have the issues in here of Guardians of the Galaxy, but it doesn't actually have the Last Annihilation or the Cable or Sword issues. So, no, it was Cable. It was Cable. In case you want those. All right, next up is, oh my gosh, absolutely a book that has been canceled time and time again. I'm talking about Legends of the Dark Knight, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. 3 years ago, this book got canceled. 2 years ago, it snuck back into the catalog and then they took it out. Now it's solicited officially. Len Wein, Nuncio de Phillips, Bob Haney, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez, of course. This showcases art by Jose Luis Garcia Lopez through so much Batman. You have Batman 272, 311, 313, 314, 318, 321, 336, and 337, 353. Then you have Batman 66, The Lost Episode, Confidential 26 through 27, Batman Family number 3, Dark Knight of the Round Table 1 and 2, Gotham Knights number 10, Reign of Terror number 1, DC Comics Presents 31 and 41, DC Special Series 21, Detective Comics 454, 458 through 459, 483, 487, Best of Brave and the Bold 1 through 6, Brave and the Bold 164 and 171, and the Joker number 4. And then you also have The Untold Legend of Batman 1 through 3 and World's Finest Comics 244, 255, and 258. This is a must for people that love this particular era. I guess, a little bit of silver and a Bronze Age era of Batman. Collecting all those issues in 472 pages in a nice hardcover, $49.99. So I know for a lot of people he was the definitive Batman artist. And it is a great collection because a lot of this stuff has never been collected anywhere else. Next up is The Authority Book 1. This is the new edition that DC is putting out. And this is $29.99 and it has 400 pages. Collecting The Authority 1 through 12, Planetary The Authority Ruling the World, and then a new story from Wildstorm, a celebration of 25 years. This is written by Warren Ellis and it is drawn by Brian Hitch. Now, I completely understand if you can't buy this book because of Warren Ellis and respect those people. But this is my recommendation because this was a book that was put together by more than just one person. And my gosh, this is the stuff that really put this idea of a cinematic look to comics. There's so many spread pages with giant spaceships in here. And of course, James Gunn is interesting, and I think, I don't know if he's helming it or not, but somebody at DC will be making an adaptation of this into a movie or TV show. I think it's going to be a movie. But, I have to recommend it. Brian Hitch took this idea of this cinematic scope and put it into his Ultimates. That's why you see those bigger-than-life machines and spaceships in those particular stories by Mark Millar. As a matter of fact, Mark Millar ended up taking over the Authority. But this was what the leftover team from Stormwatch, they formed this particular team, all set, now in the DC universe. This was all set in the Wildstorm universe at one time. So in here you have Apollo, you have Midnighter, Jenny, oh my gosh. Well, the least I say about her, the better, because you have to be surprised to find out for yourself what ends up happening to some of these characters. Oh my gosh, I'm absolutely recommending Deadpool and Cable Omnibus. It is my favorite Deadpool story by Fabian Nicieza, and you throw in a lot of heart with Cable in here. You have early artwork by Mark Brooks, but then Riley Brown steps in, and both covers are available the same day. Collecting Cable and Deadpool 1 through 50, Deadpool and the Great Lake Avengers Summer Fun Spectacular, and the material from Deadpool number 27. So, through a series of, I wouldn't say unfortunate, because it does pay off later on, but events, Cable and Deadpool are now forced to be together. And as some of you, most of you all know, Cable hates Deadpool. But now they can't become separated because they're stuck with each other. And these two grown-ass men now have to survive going through the perils of time travel and crossovers like the Civil War. And you have a couple of other crossovers in there, a couple guest stars. So if you ever enjoyed any of Deadpool's stories or Cable's stories, this has a beautiful balance of both serious and goofiness. It doesn't get hokey, or too hokey rather, but it does make me laugh out loud. Fabian has the perfect voice for Wade Wilson. I love it. This is where a lot of the things with B. Arthur and the Chimichangas started off. And then later on, it becomes kind of interesting because something happens in the story that changes the dynamic. not to get into spoilers, of the two characters. So 100% recommending it. It's been out of print for years. It was voted in our top 20 last year, and here it finally is, coming out the week of April 25th. Deadpool and Cable. But forever, Cable and Deadpool. I'm surprised they didn't have the chance to fix that this time around, but whatever, I get it. They were cashing in on the Deadpool name. Now, if you're interested in any of the top 10 or your own top 10, check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was my top 10 recommended buys, must-reads, essential reads for the month of April of 2023. Let me know in the comments down below what your books that you are recommending would be, or what books you've read from here that you're like, yeah, man, or nah, no way, that's trash. One man's trash? Yeah, you all know. But that's it, everyone. Hit that like button on the way out. Thank you so much to our patrons. Could not be making videos like this possible without you all. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.